In the market, there are lots of funnel builders out there and they are struggling to get clients. So, what is the strategy they apply to position themselves as a unique in the market?
Yeah, so I think, with any market, there's going to be a bunch of competition. Like if you look at any sort of product that's being sold, there's probably hundreds or thousands of other people doing the exact same thing.
So if you are completely newbie or you wanted to learn about funnel industry, you wanted to learn the concept of funnel, how actually funnel is work and all those stuff related to funnel. So you can start with the .com secret book and One Funnel Away challenge by Russell Brunson. So you find all the related link of .com secret or One Funnel Away challenge in the description, and I also did an playlist of .com secret. So you can go and check in I button. But before jumping into .com secret, let's continue on this video interview and you get more value from this interview. And yeah, if you join OFA One Funnel Away challenge with my referral link, you get some special bonuses as well. Let's move to the video. What is up, guys? What is up? So I am back with the Entrepreneurs Warrior Show hosted by me, Nilesh. And this is where we interview entrepreneurs, affiliate marketer, coach, consultant. And in this amazing series today, we have one of the best funnel builder with us. He is the co-founder of agencies Snagged and Funnel Agency Lab. He helped 250 plus funnel builders and agency owners to grow their businesses. He helped to set up a digital ecosystem that curate customers' journey, and he helps some of the world's top brands, top entrepreneurs, including Brent Mura, Moscato, and many more. He helped entrepreneurs to convert long form content into short form clips. So, further any ado, let's welcome Scott Wishing on the stage. So, hey Scott, great to have you here.
Absolutely, man. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure to have you on the show. It's really appreciate that you are the join the show and really grateful for this.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is always, it's always fun to come on and chat about things. I think as I'm listening to you introduce me, it seems like I do lots and lots of crazy things, but it's one of those things where, my journey has just evolved and we basically solve problems for our own business, and then once we do that, we're able to offer them. So, funnels, content, it seems all over the place, but hopefully we can make it sound really simple today.
Yeah, definitely. It's your kindness that you are speaking like this. So really grateful and thank you so much. So are you hearing me loud and clear before we start this session?
Yeah, sounds perfect.
Awesome,
Yep.
awesome, awesome. So the guys who are with us on live, drop hashtag live. With us on replay, drop hashtag replay, and make sure to you take the pen and paper or your notebook because Scott's sharing lots of golden nuggets. So make sure you take notes. So are we ready? Good to go?
Yeah, we're good to go. Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks for hopefully if you're listening live, thanks for joining in. If you're listening on a replay, glad you could be here.
yeah, definitely. So the people who don't know you, could you tell a little bit about yourself on how you started in the online marketing business?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was a school teacher for 7 years before I went full-time entrepreneurship. And in that time, I always found myself, I was dabbling in web design and I was having these other businesses on the side, and I never felt fully fulfilled over just teaching and coaching. And so when there was a certain time that came about and I told my wife, I said, you know what, honey, I think I'm going to try to do this whole online thing full time. And it kind of scared the crap out of her at first, but the transition was a little bit scary, but I was able to kind of just figure it out. And I started doing web design, I started doing a little bit of copywriting, and then I got over into the marketing side of things when I discovered ClickFunnels, and that was when things kind of changed. I was able to kind of bridge the gap between crappy ClickFunnels design and good web design, and I started producing some YouTube videos even though I had no idea what I was doing. And through that content and that small amount of audience that I had, people started asking me to build their funnels, and that was kind of where I got my start online. And I just made it as a solopreneur for about a year before we really started an agency or anything like that.
That's really awesome. Like from web designer, from teacher, and that is literally a mind-blowing journey backstory that you mentioned. And right then you jump into ClickFunnels, and you right now you help more than 250 plus funnel builder and agency owners. So to grow their businesses, could you share one framework that apply and that give them results? So could you share one framework that you implement?
Yeah, I think, right now, funnels, it's always been a comparison like funnels versus website or landing page. And when I started out, I kind of operated under that same understanding as well. But as I started really going through it, if you have a good product and you have a good offer, then the funnel side of things becomes a lot simpler because then more people are going to want to buy your stuff. And so I think sometimes we get caught up in like all the tips and tricks and like, change this color of a button and do this to this. But really, it's just making things really easy to understand for the viewer and then making it about them. And so if they come to a page, they really don't care about you, to be honest. Like they just want to know how you're going to help them, what problem you're going to solve for them, and then how quickly you're going to do it. And so if you can communicate that in a really simple way on a page, whether that's a long form sales copy or it's like 2 paragraphs, it really doesn't matter. And so that's kind of the one thing I found out. It's more about solving the problem than it is trying to decide what type of funnel should I use, in every single instance. So,
Wow, that's literally crazy. So you just mentioned a good product, and you don't need to. You have to have a good product and offer. So how did someone create a good product or good offer?
yeah, so this is, it's probably a little bit more complex than we can make it in a couple minutes here, but I think the key thing to remember when you're creating a product is the biggest thing to look for is product market fit. And so I have to do a couple things before I go and build my entire product out. I have to make sure that the people who I'm going to be selling it to actually want that product. And so we call that offer validation. And so before we launch any product or any service, we go out to the market for like a month. And all we do is we just talk to people and we say, we're looking to do this. We don't act like we're experts. We don't act like we have tons and tons of experience in it. We just tell them, hey, we have this new product. We're looking to test it out. Can we get your feedback? And sometimes you have to give them the service. Sometimes you have to give them the product. But the feedback that you're going to get from that person is going to be more valuable than anything you're going to get on the back end. And so spend the time to really get to know who your audience is and if they even want your product. Because if they don't, that's fine. Like you just move on to the next one. But the biggest mistake I think we can make is you have a product that nobody wants. And then you say, oh, well, if I just make a really good funnel, it'll sell itself. And then that usually doesn't work. It's more about if the audience wants it or not. And so that's kind of like where I would say is my biggest piece of advice when you're building new products and about to launch your funnel and everything on the back end.
Yeah, that is really great piece of advice because as Russell Brunson mentioned in his book, like my framework is not only work for me, it is work for other people.
Yeah.
Definitely, it is literally a great piece of advice you just mentioned. So, if we see at the time, at the moment, in the market, there are lots of funnel builders out there, and they are struggling to get clients. So, what is the strategy they apply to position themselves as a unique in the market?
Yeah, so I think, with any market there's going to be a bunch of competition. Like if you look at any sort of product that's being sold, there's probably hundreds or thousands of other people doing the exact same thing. So it isn't necessarily about being extremely unique, but in my experience, what's worked for me is creating the authority around whatever it is you are doing. And so for yourself, you have your show, you have the content that you're creating. That's huge for establishing authority in your space. And so I would really lean into, even if you're not an expert, as long as you have, Alex Hermosi calls this information arbitrage. If you know more about something than somebody else knows, then that person can become your customer. You don't have to know the most about that thing. You just have to know more than these people. And so first things first is I would really just try to create content and become an authority. And then second is your output. If I have a product or I have a service and nobody knows about it, I can't sell it. And so we kind of sit back and we're like, man, I have this website or I have this funnel and I can't make any sales. And my first question is, how many people did you talk to today? How many conversations did you have? How many people did you tell about your offer? And when you can tell 100 to 300 people about your offer every day, and they're able to go look at your content and say, okay, this guy knows what he's doing, your odds of making sales increase exponentially. And so once again, it's about output. Content, messaging, and effort to reach people is the biggest thing you can do when you're trying to gain new clients.
I really love this piece of advice. And here I want to ask another thing, like people scared to do conversation, like people scared to talk with people. How they overcome from this thing? Because in the market we have to talk with people. And today morning itself, I get one message from one of the client. He mentioned like I am scared to talk with people. How they overcome from this? What is your suggestion to them?
So when we talk about sales and being scared to talk to people, fear is very much something we create in our own mind. And so if I'm scared of doing something, it's not a real thing. Like if I'm scared to go skydiving, I've never been skydiving before. I convince myself that something's going to happen. And so then I tell myself I'm scared to go skydiving. Well, the only way to get through that is to actually do it. And the more I do it, the less scared I'm going to get. And so the same thing goes for sales. Like we're going through a process right now where we're emailing hundreds of people every day who we don't know. They don't know us, we don't know them, and every day without fail, we get some people that tell us to go away and never contact them again. And then we get some people that say, I absolutely love your offer. I love what you have to say. Tell me more about it. And so with fear and having a fear of communication and talking to people, it's just something that you have to get past. It's never going to be easy. Like you're always going to have the people that are like, don't ever talk to me. But we have to try to convince ourselves that that doesn't matter. If I get 5 people that tell me they don't want to talk to me, but I get one person that says, hey, I love your product, that's a huge win for me. And so as long as I'm resilient and I have a thick skin, I don't care about those people that don't want to hear from me. I'm going to keep trying to find the people that do hear from me. And the only way to do that is to keep practicing and to keep going. And so that would be my, biggest piece of advice for getting over your fear.
Definitely, be in the momentum and just be consistent with the process. Enjoy the process. That is literally great micro point.
Right.
So, how does content creation help funnel builders, and what type of content they create? Can
Yeah,
you just
so this is a really hot topic right now. So, like we our new offer focuses on content creation, content repurposing, and the reason we did that is because the funnel clients we were working with kept having the same issue. If they weren't running ads or they didn't have some sort of big email list, they were always struggling to get traffic. And so unless you want to spend a big budget on your ads, you have to have some other way to bring traffic in. And so content kept coming up. And so I think right now people are looking at content as like, what type of content or, what hashtag or what caption should I use? And really, it's not about that. With our clients we're finding that are having the most success, it's literally about consistency. It's if you have a relatively good message and you have an audience who you are speaking directly to every time you talk, if you're consistent over time, not only will you get better, but your message will become better. And then the people will want to follow you more. And so people that are looking to use content as like a one-time like viral thing, you're going to lose every time. The people who have been really successful, like even look at Alex Ramosi, Gary Vee, these guys that are huge now, their content isn't amazing. Like it's not like it's something brand new we've never seen. They've just done it so many times and they have good results. So you can say, okay, this person's someone I trust because I see them every day of my life and they have these good results. And so the biggest takeaway is do things, talk about the things you're doing, and be consistent. And if you do those 3 things, you will have success in content. I guarantee it.
really love this advice? Really, like they are people see us, and consistency is literally key to success. Consistency is the something that actually help us. Really love this advice. So you are also help content creator to convert their long form content into short form content. How does it work, and how you are going to help them?
Yeah, so our new offer is called Snacked, and the reason we named it that was because we're taking big, huge pieces of content and turning them into like 30 to 60-second pieces, and so they're basically snacks. And so what we say is we'll snack your content for you. And so someone that has, let's say, coaching calls, or someone that has a podcast or maybe a YouTube channel, and they want more exposure and they want to create a better personal brand, you have to be taking advantage of platforms like Reels, TikToks, YouTube Shorts. That's where everything is going in content right now. Long form will always be there, but the content that's getting views and is creating personal brand styles is through short form content. And so what we did was we started doing it with our own business and our own content. I took my YouTube videos and our podcast and I started chopping them up, and we had all kinds of people that were saying, "How are you doing this? You know, tell me how you did this and how can we start to do this for our business?" And so that's how this offer kind of started. And then it took on a life of its own. We thought it might be, you know, a small kind of side offer, but it's grown into something that's grown really quickly that a lot of people have a need for. And so when you look at the offer itself, that's kind of a really big takeaway here. The reason it's working well is because we're speaking directly to an audience, long form content creators, and we're telling them exactly what we can do for them. And we're able to do it in a way that gives them results right away. And when you compound those three things, it becomes, you know, really powerful and pretty fun. And so if you are a person out there who's looking to get into Reels or TikTok and you have long form content, just start chopping it up on your own. Literally get a simple video editing software, choose 30 to 60-second clips, chop them up, and then throw them onto Reels. Reels will actually generate the captions for you now. So you don't even have to necessarily have a fancy video editing software. Just get your content, generate the reel, put some trending audio on it, and post it on Reels, and you're going to be amazed at the kind of exposure you're going to get from those type of videos.
From really lovely advice, really. And this is something that is working right now. Reels are growing crazy, YouTube shorts are growing crazy. Literally great advice. And so you also help entrepreneurs to set up a digital ecosystem that curate customer journey. Can you put some lights on it, like how it works and how actually you are working on it in this thing?
Yeah, so that's kind of a perfect way to, you know, explain how all this stuff works together with funnels and content, et cetera, et cetera. And so what we discovered was a business isn't about just like one entity. It isn't about your website. It isn't about your YouTube channel. It isn't about your reels or your content. It's everything combined into one. And if you can take everything that you have with all of your assets, all of your content, all of your long form, short form, everything, and you can curate it in a way where it brings people in. And then when you bring the people in, it has the right links and, you know, back end to take them where you want to go. That becomes an ecosystem. And so to make that like really easy to understand, picture Instagram right now. If I post a reel on Instagram, what will happen is Instagram will automatically put that into, you know, the algorithm, and anywhere from, you know, 100 to 10,000 people are probably going to see that video. And from those people, about 5% will actually explore your profile. And so when they go to my profile, they're going to see my profile picture, they're going to see my description, and they'll always see some sort of link that they can go to. And so we treat that as traffic inside of our business. And so now instead of having to run an ad to get the traffic, we're using our content to generate that. And then we just build the back end around it. And so the back end might be a one-page funnel. It might be a three-step funnel. It might be a website, whatever that person needs in order to help them either grow or sell their product. That's what we build. And then we call that an ecosystem. And so between our funnels, our websites, and our content, we're able to create full ecosystems for all of our clients.
This is really great thing to do, and definitely, once people enter into our world, we have to nurture them in a very well manner. So we collect them into our world, as Russell mentioned. collect your list. Your list is something that is your biggest asset, and definitely digital ecosystem is help. So this is a really great thing. So you are in the market from a long time. So any three piece of advice you want to add to the new entrepreneur or struggling entrepreneur from your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I haven't been doing this for a long time. Like, and I want people to really know that. I mean, I've only been 100% full time online, like since just before, COVID happened. So it's only been 2.5 years. But in that time, I think the biggest thing that I've realized is that you can't keep comparing yourself to other people, because what happens is you don't get to see the journey that that person has taken to get to where they are. And you start to tell yourself in your own mind that you should be there. And you start to get these thoughts of, oh my gosh, why am I only making $2,000 this month? And, why am I not able to generate clients like all these other people? And we actually convince ourselves that we're not worth it, or that the reality is everyone else and then we're the outlier, when really a lot of the people you see online are trying to come across as something they're not. And so what I found was most helpful for me in my business was to really completely shut that out. And originally I was following all these people. I had a whole list of people I wanted to follow and be like. And through the years, I literally cut that down to about a list of like 5 people, people that hit the target audiences that I want to be talking to. So I have one person I follow that's like personal brand and content. I have one person I follow that's cold email. I have one person I follow that's, organic outreach. And so I just follow what they're doing and try to model after them, knowing that I'm not where they are at yet. And that helps me to enjoy the process, because now I can go through stuff and I can be honest with you. Like, I share things that we do on a daily basis with my audience. Like, I share, cold emails we've sent and responses we get. And I don't need to sit here and say we're making millions and millions of dollars, because we're going through the process. And then once we find that success in whatever offer we have, then I can go back and now I have the whole journey documented. And I can show people, here's where you're at. You're on day one of cold email. You're not going to be sending 7,000 emails yet. We need you to send like 20. And then on week 2, you're going to be at 50. And then we're going to slowly work our way up. And so just not consuming yourself with comparative analysis will be huge for your business. And so that's probably the biggest piece of advice I have for anybody who's struggling right now or trying to figure out how to make all this work.
Lovely advice. Really great advice you mentioned right now. So if a new people want to start their journey, so from where they start, should they directly jump into the agency, or they start with some skills? So what is your suggestion to them? They try to be into jump into agency model at the starting of their journey. So what is your suggestion?
You know what? Like, I think the term agency has been thrown around a lot. Like, agency just means to do something on your own. And so essentially, I mean, if you're one person and you're a solopreneur, you can essentially have an agency. The thing that I would concentrate on, though, are kind of the points we've already touched on, is how do you separate yourself a little bit from the other people in the crowd? And I will come back to this every time. If we took a list right now, and since we talk about funnel builders, if we took a list of 100 funnel builders and we went and looked through every one of their profiles, I guarantee you there's only going to be about 5 or 6 who have posted consistent content and that have actually created authority in the space. And more than likely, those are the people who are probably getting the majority of the clients in that space. And so start to understand, if you do create personal brand content and you continue to do it and you continue to educate people, that's the number one way you're going to grow as a new entrepreneur. And then the second thing, which is probably equally as important, is getting to the point where you're doing outreach every single day. And I don't care if you don't have the whole system figured out. You have to, and I don't say a lot of like absolute statements, but you have to be putting yourself out there. I went for like 12 months of my funnel building journey where I wasn't reaching out to people. And then I was asking myself every day, like, why am I not getting new leads? And, why are people like, people aren't just going to come to you. You actually have to go out and put in the effort to reach out to people. And you're going to fail a lot. Like, I fail every single day. I have huge moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what is going on? I don't know if this is going to work. Trust me, I go through those all the time. But when you can sit back and like look at the journey and say, okay, look how much I've learned. Look where I'm at now compared to where I was a year or two ago. That becomes the fun part. And so continue to enjoy the process and just find people who can help you and kind of model after them, but then know that you're your own person and this is your own journey. You're going to be different than all the other people that are going through this. So
So true. This is really great, amazing bulb on moment right now. So you mentioned go people never come to you. Definitely, people are not come to you. So is there any framework you are following for outreaching? Any steps that you want to share with my audience so they apply in their business and their life?
yeah, absolutely. I think, in Funnel Agency Lab, which is our funnel coaching program, we have kind of a whole sequence of steps on, how to formulate your messages and how to formulate your follow-ups. And so when you're looking to speak to people that you don't know, there's kind of this misconception that we have to become their best friend. And I see a lot of people talking about this. They're like, well, you didn't even form a relationship first. Well, as a business owner, like, I'm sorry, but I don't want to form a relationship with every person that I connect with on Facebook or LinkedIn. But what I am constantly looking for is good, talented people. And so when I get cold messages, which I do every single day, I used to have the mentality of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this person is going to cold message me. Now I look at it from a standpoint of, does this person seem like they can actually help me? And the way that you can become that person, so like the way that you can become the person who people think, can really help you is very much through your messaging. So if I'm reaching out to someone on Facebook today that I've never met, I have to have a couple things. I have to make sure that I personalize that message to the person that I'm talking about. If I have spent 0 minutes researching this person at all and I reach out to them and I say, hey, John, how's business going? Like that becomes almost like a meme now. Like people make fun of that every day. And so what you have to do is you have to know something about John. You have to know what his website is or what accomplishment he just had. So that's number one. Number two is your hook. When you have a hook, you're basically telling people exactly how you can help solve their problem in a way that doesn't seem salesy. And I'll give you an example of this. So when we do our cold email, we reach out to podcasters. And so on the back end, we go and find the name of the podcast that they're doing. And we have our VA write down like one small piece of information about their podcast. And so in our cold email, we're like, hey, John, just checked out John's podcast and love what you had to say about XYZ. So that's like our opening line. And then we go into our hook. And for us, we can help podcasters grow their show by creating dozens of pieces of content from one episode. And so the very next line will be, we help podcasters take their show and grow it from, X amount of listeners to X amount of listeners by creating dozens of pieces of content. And then we say, does this sound like something that would interest you? And so what we've done now is we've communicated to John in a way where we've personalized it. We've asked him a question. We didn't say, hey, we do this, and then we didn't ask him a question. We're giving John the ability to say, yes, I'm interested in this. Tell me a little bit more. And we pretty much leave the conversation done at that point. So our first email is strictly for getting a positive reply. So you can take that same piece of advice and plug it directly into Facebook. When you go to message someone in Facebook, just do those same things. Personalize, have a hook that helps them, and then ask them if they're interested. And if they don't say anything, in 24 hours, drop them one more message. And then in 48 hours, do something funny, like drop a meme and be like, oh, so this is what it feels like to get ghosted. Make it like you're actually having a conversation, and you're going to be surprised at how many people actually respond to you. So that would be my messaging kind of education for the day.
It's really mind blowing. This is really mind blowing thing that you just shared. Really awesome. So, guys, we are here for a few more minutes. So, if you have a question, you can drop in the comment section so we can take on the screen. So, you are all the day busy being an entrepreneur. You are very busy. And what is the one tip you want to share for time management? Like how you are manage your time?
Oh man, you're talking to a guy here that I'm a dad. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. And so my days are very much, my hours are very valuable to me. And so when I just started out in entrepreneurship, I kind of just was a free for all. I would work at any time, and I would, work nights, and I would miss my kids' stuff. And I got to a point where I just said, no, no more. And Gustin and Pedro, who are in Funnel Agency Lab with me, they actually give me crap about this. They're like, you never work past 5 o'clock, or you're never working. And Gustin works in the middle of the night. But I've set those strict standards because I want to make sure that business isn't my entire life all the time. And so in terms of time management, this is what we teach to our lab students. You need to evaluate what your business currently looks like. So do you have a ton of clients and spending all of your time in fulfillment? Well, then most of your time is going to be spent in fulfillment. If you don't have a lot of clients and you have more time than revenue coming in, now you need to understand which pieces are going to generate revenue. So if I don't have any clients and I need more clients, I need to spend 90% of my time doing content and marketing, because those are the only two things that I can actually do that are going to get clients to come my way. And so I'm gonna plan out my whole day. So if I start work at 8 in the morning and I know I have till 5 p.m. to work, I'm gonna plan that out in chunks. And I'm gonna say, okay, for 1 hour, I'm gonna just do lead scraping. I'm gonna go and find people who I feel like are gonna be in my target audience. And then I'm gonna take a 10-minute break and I'm gonna go on a walk. And then when I come back, I'm gonna have one more hour now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna message those people that I just put down from my Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to spend an hour on that, and then I'm going to take a break. And so you just need to organize your whole day in chunks. You also need to know what are your non-negotiables. So in my day, like I have a board sitting right here. It's a huge whiteboard, and I could turn my camera and show you, but I literally have things that that are not negotiable in my day. I need to go for walks. I need to make sure that I take some time to do some breathing and just relax. But then I also have my business section. I'm going to make sure that every day I follow up to everyone who emailed me the day before. I'm also going to take time to outreach a certain amount of people. And so those are my non-negotiables. And so if you're an entrepreneur trying to manage your time, the first thing you need to know is, what are the things I need to be doing? And once you have a list of those things, then you put your calendar in front of you and you say, I'm going to do this thing for this time, this thing for this time, and you just put everything in. And after you've done that for like a month, you're going to get a really good feeling of what things are actually worth your time and what things aren't worth your time. And then you just go back through, you cut out things that aren't worth your time, and you add the things in, or do more of the thing that's worth your time. And that's literally the only way that I feel like you can like have a calendar. You can't just copy somebody else's calendar. Like you have to feel it out in your day and understand exactly what's going to make the revenue for you. So that's it.
This is really like a bulb on and mic drop and mind blowing. Really, really super duper piece of advice that you just mentioned right now. Like you have to set up each and everything in a right manner. Yeah, I also have the whiteboard in right hand side of me. So really great and great advice you just share with me. So we have one question in the comment. So yeah, how do you understand?
All right. How do you understand by seeing their profile that they might be an ideal client because we find them in a Facebook group? What do you look before outreach? So, what we do is we kind of just use keywords to start. So, for our offers, the main target audience we're looking for is coaches, podcasters, YouTubers, or educators. And so, those are kind of like the four keywords we use. Now, if your audience is a self-identifiable audience. So if I'm a podcaster, I identify myself as a podcaster. And so I'm more than likely going to put that in my bio. If I'm a coach, I'm more than likely going to put I'm a coach in my bio. And so those people are relatively easy to find. I literally can go into a Facebook group, and you can take notes on this if you want, but go into a Facebook group, click on members, and then go to members with things in common, and then type in your keyword, type in coach. And so what Facebook's going to do is it's going to show you a list of people who are more than likely kind of similar to you, that they basically say, here, you can add these people for free and they're not going to penalize you. Because on Facebook, if you go and add a bunch of strangers, if I add 50 strangers in a day and let's say like 30 of them don't respond, Facebook's going to flag me and they're going to be like, you're just trying to spam people. Don't do that. But if you use members with things in common, now you can go and add people at a rate where you can get 50 to 100 people a day and you're not going to get flagged. And those people are more than likely in your target audience. Now, are all those people going to be perfect? No, absolutely not. But as you work your way through the process, you're going to be able to understand if they are or not. So that's how I do it on Facebook. On LinkedIn, I don't know if any of you use LinkedIn Sales Navigator, but LinkedIn Sales Navigator is basically a lead generation tool inside of LinkedIn. And I can go and I can type in any keyword and I can filter it out to exactly what I want. So I can type in podcaster, and then I can say, I only want podcasters in the United States. And I only want podcasters with 2 to 5 people in their business. And I only want podcasters that do under $1 million. And so I can filter all those things out. And then to take it one step further, I can scrape their emails with a super simple email scraper. And so there are ways to find people that are basically like at our disposal. Like every day you could go on Facebook and LinkedIn and gain like 1,000 new people into your ecosystem. And then it's just a matter of finding one personal kind of thing about them and then sending a message to them. And only 5 to 10% max are going to respond to you. But of those opportunities are where your clients are going to come from. If we could convert messaging at 50%, everyone would do it, because you just have to send 10 messages every day and 5 people will respond to you. That's not how it works. You have to find those people and then send those messages. So those are some quick tips on the just finding people and starting to add them into your audience.
Really lovely advice. Really super duper great advice you mentioned right now. So really thankful for that. So where people find you? So where did people find you?
You know, we're pretty much, like I said, we focus on our ecosystem. So we just this year started kind of growing our Instagram side of things. My Facebook profile is extremely active. You can feel free to add me there or check out my content there. My YouTube channel is just Scott Wissing. I have tons of funnel stuff, tons of agency stuff there. You can check that out. Almost every video that I do on YouTube is connected to some sort of lead magnet, which will bring you into our email sequence. And I'm very transparent about that. I'm not trying to like trick you into it. If you get into our email sequence, you more than likely will get emails from us. And so you'll get to kind of see how we structure our business. So those are our big kind of places where we do a lot of our content. But feel free to add me. You don't have to follow me. Like, add me as a friend. You know, you can interact with me and shoot me a DM. Like, I'm just a regular guy that responds to my own DMs. So I mean, if you have any questions on anything, feel free to add me there. But I'm happy to help anybody with any questions about content or funnel or anything like that.
Definitely, you are really super duper awesome person, and you share lots of golden nuggets with my audience. I'm really grateful to have you on the show. So before we wrap up the show, what is your final thought on the future funnel builder?
Man, my final thought right now is nobody's going to give anything to you. And I've this is something I've come to realize in my life. Like, I had a great family. I didn't have like a hard upbringing or anything. You know, I was very much, you know, an athlete and a good student. I had a lot of great things in my life, but you know, especially as I've been into entrepreneurship, like the one thing I found is I've had to work for 99% of what has come my way. And so I think a lot of times we're looking for like a break. Like, we're looking for, you know, if I just put this one piece of content on, I'm going to go viral and then everyone's going to like that. Usually doesn't happen. And so the biggest thing to focus on is, what can I do every single day that's going to put me in a better position to grow my business or my personal brand than I was in yesterday? And that's literally the only thing that I really focus on anymore. I do not know what's going to happen in 6 months from now. Like when I get on calls, sometimes we have people on the other end that are like, what are your business revenue projections for the next year? And I flat out tell them, I have no idea. Like I know what I'm making now and I know what I'd like to be doing, but all I care about is that today was better than the last day. And if you can continue to get iterations each day, like let's say I sit down on my desk for that hour block and I just have like no mental capacity and I only do like 10 minutes of work. I need to understand why that happened. Was it because it was 8 in the morning and I don't have any energy? Was it because of, I didn't get enough sleep? Like we're just constantly analyzing how we can be better each day and then trying to make the next day the best one. And so that's my biggest piece. And it doesn't matter if you're a funnel builder, an agency owner, whatever it is, just try to get a little bit better with what you do every single day.
Wow. That is literally crazy advice. And thank you so much once again, Scott, for sharing lots of golden nugget with me and my audience. Really grateful for you.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, it was great being here. Thanks for all the engagement. You guys are awesome. A lot of comments. Hopefully we answered all your questions. And if you have any more after we get off, feel free to shoot me a DM and I'll try my best to get back to that.
Definitely. So I'll be joining you in a minute. So thank you so much once again for your sharing lots of golden nugget. Till
Absolutely.
then,
thanks, guys. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, bye-bye. So there you go, guys. There you go. And he is a Scott Wissing, he shared tons of golden nuggets. So share your biggest takeaway. What is the one thing that you like the most from this interview? And if you have a question, just drop in the comment, or as Scott mentioned, like you can send him DM. He's really a awesome person out there. So definitely go and follow him, send a friend request to him, and yeah, give a like or share with other people, tag the people who are interested into funnel building and want to start their funnel journey. So you can tag them, mention them, and share with them this thing. So I hope you enjoy this interview. I hope you learned so many things from this interview, and I really appreciate that you are still with this interview and you are watching me and this channel. So please make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you wanted to learn the art of funnel building, the science of funnel building, how actually funnel building works, then definitely you can join the One Funnel Away challenge. You find the related link in the comment section or in the description section. Please make sure you go and check it out. And I have a special bonuses. You find all the bonuses in the description link as well. I'll be joined with you with another guest, another episode on the Entrepreneur's Warrior Show. Till then, bye bye.